Hello, everybody. Welcome back once more to Anime Yay or Nay, the movie time of the month, end of the month movie time. I'm TheOutbackAl.
I'm Hot for Justice.
I'm cheating you.
And I'm NV Jitters.
What we watch this week, or this month, in the month of love?
From up on Poppy Hill.
Good old Studio Ghibli, always giving us the lovely little romance. I don't actually know that they go in any straight romance movies very often.
I mean, there's romance elements in a lot of their movies, but I guess none of them are specific romance.
Yeah. Anywho, so this was produced by Miyazaki, but it was actually directed by his son Goro,
Yes,
right?
and thankfully his sophomore effort was a lot better than his first effort.
Which one was his first one?
Tales from Earthsea.
Oh.
Which was shit.
His own
Didn't
dad
see
even
it.
walked out of the screening.
Oh.
Yeah, like Goro brought his dad, Hayao, to see the movie, and he walked out halfway through the film.
Well, good thing we're not watching that.
Yeah.
This one I like. I like a lot of elements of this movie, but should we go into the plot first or everything that we like? So there's a lot.
Plot.
Okay, so it's 1963 Japan. It's a year before the 64 Olympics, which, you know, we're a little past World War II. We're kind of getting into the modern age. One of the things I like best that I noticed early on, especially in like the early montage when, and I've already lost her name. What was her name? Umi, the main girl, is like walking to school. I like the kind of combination that we're seeing of like the old world Japan, kind of like all the houses are made of like wood and stone, and then you're slowly getting to like the combination of that and the brick and mortar kind of buildings of the future of 1964.
Yeah.
I think it's really well put together. This is a beautiful movie to look at.
You can tell that the scars of World War II are still there, but everyone's trying to move forward while still honoring the past.
Yeah, it's really nice. We meet Umi, who is living with her grandmother at a
boarding house.
I was about to say hostel, but yeah, it's a boarding house.
Oh, that'd be a completely different movie.
I think they'd focus even more on the people who will like come drifting in and out of the hostel than.
That could be an interesting anime, a hostel.
Mm-hmm.
Not like the movie Hostel.
Well, yeah, I know that.
Come on.
I know that.
That could be kind of interesting if you had an anime about that kind of stuff. I feel like there might be. Let us know in the comments if there is one. But...
So, I know Princess Jellyfish is basically another anime it's about a bunch of people who all live in a boarding house. Again, boarding houses are like a thing.
Yeah, they are.
Magi record.
I mean, heck, one of the best
Princess
anime of all
Jellyfish.
time was about a boarding house
Hey
called Hey
Arnold.
Yeah, one of the best anime of all time. Right behind Corey in the house.
When I was watching this yesterday, I brought that up to my partner. I was like, yeah, Hey Arnold, boarding house. And they were like, I didn't watch enough Hey Arnold to know what you're talking about.
Oh.
Really?
So you're breaking up, right?
No.
Okay.
You just gotta call them a football head.
That might not work unless they are a football head, though. But yeah, so boarding house is an old style house, and grandma kind of owns it, but it's being run by Umi for the most part, and the assistant that's working there, who is
Tomoko or something.
Yeah, there's a bunch of boarders who like have varying degrees of importance, but ultimately are not super important to the plot.
Yeah.
She has a sister and a little brother who, again, there but not super important to the plot all the time.
Obviously.
I mean, the little sister goes to the same
The
school.
little brother there's no point to him,
Yeah.
actually.
The little sister goes to the same school as Umi. She's like a year younger than her, and
Yeah.
she's basically taking care of the house while her mother is in the United States studying.
Yeah, I think she's studying to be a doctor. So, but yeah, let's talk about the school, because that's a major point of the movie is what's going on at school. Outside of your regular classes and whatnot, there is a building called the Latin Quarter, which the school board and principal are planning to demolish to make a new student center. And there's a lot of students who have their clubs stationed in the Latin Quarter who are like, no, we like this building. It's a cool building. It's been here for years and years and years.
It's basically a tower with a lot of stairs and tiny rooms.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
And you get to
Really
go
cool.
inside. It's like they turned an office building into a shanty town. But it was like from the 1800s or something, and it's just really interesting to look at. And they have like pulley systems and everyone built their own clubhouse in the stairs and all this other sort of stuff. Just
Yeah,
like,
the
this,
philosophy club.
this is like
This is like a Haruki Murakami sort of thing that I would think I would find in one of his novels.
Yeah, it's like that clubhouse that you always wanted as a kid, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a mess, as it would
Obviously.
be, because the boys don't clean up after themselves, I guess.
Nope.
Nope.
So the
But-
girls take it upon themselves to clean, and everyone else is
After
in
a
the.
point, we have to build up to why they actually went there in the first place.
That's true.
So, all the guys who have their club there are protesting, and there's one guy named Shun
Yeah.
who decides to jump off the roof
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
protest.
Yeah, in addition to being like the is it the astrology or astronomy or geology club? He's also the head of the
I think they just share a room. I don't think he's actually
Yeah,
part of the geology.
that's the
thing.
archaeology
He's,
the
the
archaeology
archaeology.
club.
He's just part of the printing
The
journalism
literature.
stuff.
He does the
Literature.
paper for
Oh
the-
God, it's a literature club. Oh God, I can't be here anymore.
But he does a crazy stunt to help spread awareness,
Yeah.
jumping off the building to spread awareness for the building, and he meets Umi, who's like, "You just jumped off a building? What's wrong with you?"
We should say he landed in a pool,
Yeah.
He did.
and Umi kind of like pulls him out. And there's a lot of people taking pictures of everything, and I'm gonna say like this is one of the things I really liked about the art style and the animation, because like especially when I saw them starting to take pictures, I'm like, I could see these being real photos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I could see all of this really happening somewhere, and I think that's something I always liked about like. I like how Ghibli films can be fantastical, like Spirited Away or Princess Mononoke, and they can transport you to other worlds. But like some of their ones where they're like just in the real world, really feel like you're living in them.
Mm-hmm.
It also doesn't help too that Studio Ghibli is like one of the last studios that did hand-drawn animation. They're not just solely computer animated.
This is almost a 10-year-old film.
Yeah.
And it does not show at all.
Yeah, and like I have nothing against computer animation. You got to make with the times, but like there's something special.
I have some problems with computer animation. You see those digital walking crowds in most anime?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bad.
But
Ain't none of that here.
But hand-drawn animation, yeah, it's got a special touch to it.
Plus, like, you look at any scene with a crowd, everyone has their own individual face. And their own individual, like, character model, almost. I don't know how many character models they did. It feels like a lot. That, or they were just like, this person's only going to be in one shot, let's draw them a certain way and just, like, keep it like that. And they would just, like, made notes to make sure that person stayed looking like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's again, it's Ghibli. There's always a remarkable level of detail that they
Yeah.
put into everything. But yeah, so jumped off the roof, big to do. The newspapers all over it, and Umi's little sister is like, "Hey, I need to get this guy's autograph. He jumped off a roof." I'm like, "That's all it takes? Okay." So that's why they go over to the Latin Quarter to find this guy, and we get to see this really cool montage of them walking through this. It's half a dump. It's half a tower. It's half a clubhouse. That's like that's three halves. Three-quarter. I don't know.
It's like its own mini city.
Yeah. It's really cool. It's
Is
filthy, but it's cool.
before we go back to the building, there is one important thing we forgot to mention about the very beginning of the film: the tradition that Umi does every day when she wakes up.
The
Yeah.
flags.
Yes.
She puts every day when she wakes up, she raises flags on a tower because she
Specifically, ship signaling flags.
Yeah, because her father passed away in an accident or a battle during the Korean
I don't know
War.
if that's passed away. He got killed.
I'm trying to be a little nice, but yeah, he
It's
died.
not real.
Well, I know, but he
At least from what we know, it's not real.
yeah he
it
died.
could be for all we know.
Yeah, he died in a mine accident in the Korean War. So basically, she
Accident.
wow yeah she raises the flags
He
to
was
basically
a ship captain who taught her how to do that.
pray for a safe return.
Yeah.
Yeah, she does that every day and goes to school and do all that. And Latin Quarter, and they're like, oh, we're going to get that autograph from the guy who jumped off the building. He's part of the literature club, who also prints the newspaper and a couple other things.
Yep.
So they go and meet up with him, and I think there's just, right away, Umi and Shun just they spark, man. They're, yeah. I mean, they don't. It's subtler, but it's not like, oh, I'm in love with you all of a sudden. But
it's not insta love. It's more like
Ghibli has more subtlety than that. But yeah, they are like, hey, we're doing this thing where we're taking old tests from like the physics department and math departments and all this other sort of stuff where we're taking the old ones to make mock tests for everyone to make things easier on everybody. And it's kind of garner goodwill with the students to kind of get more people on their side for like, hey, we should keep this building around because most people are not for it because it looks like shit.
mm-hmm. Gosh, it's been a bit since I saw this. You've seen it more recently than I have.
Yeah, so basically they Shun gets Umi to do like stuff for him, like because he kind of broke his hand during the jump, and
He didn't break it during the jump.
Yeah, he said he cut it shaving.
Oh, that's. I thought that was just an excuse he made.
Possibly, I don't know.
But
He's a
basically,
man. He wants to sound like a man.
but eventually, they have a debate between whether or not to tear down the building or to keep it up. Half the school kids want to tear it down. Half the other kids.
No, it's like only 20% are for keeping it.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a vast majority are like, we're getting rid of this shithole.
But then Umi and some of her friends and her sister come up with the idea.
Well, no, she has to suggest it first. That we got to have a little bit more of this romance going on. It's February. It's the month of love.
Well, we'll get to the romance.
No, we get there.
Yeah.
Like right after the debate or whatever, she kind of gets home late, and she's like, oh, we didn't get meat for dinner. I got to go down to the market. And she runs into Shun again. And he's like giving her a ride, and they're kind of hanging out a little bit, and she's like, the place is pretty cool. If you guys just cleaned it up or something, he's like, yeah, could be a good place. And then, eventually, after they have their mini date, do the girls start showing up to help out? Also, probably because the tests help a lot.
Yeah.
And she's kind of coming back regularly to be like, hey, you need me to transcribe anything or help with any of the printing stencil stuff?
Yeah.
So they have a reason to hang out, which is like always a thing. You can't just hang out. You gotta have a reason to be around each other. Otherwise, it's like, oh, you're desperate.
But yeah, she's been helping out.
Yeah.
And once that the idea kind of gets like put in his head to clean the clubhouse, that's the Latin Quarters. The girls, I guess, are kind of like recruited to like help out.
It doesn't hurt that Shun's cute.
Yeah, he's pretty cute. And so they help out. They help clean it. And then it's still not good enough.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they start doing some serious renovations to this place.
I mean, the whole building was kind of falling apart. They have to put new plaster on the walls. They got to paint. They got to dust. They got to...
Which, again, the romance is how this happened because a boarder is moving out. And they're like, we're going to have a going goodbye party for them. And...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and she's like, you know what, girls? You should invite some boys from school. Which boys? The cute ones. And they're like, yeah, we'll invite these guys. And it turns out one of the friends of the boarder used to be from the Latin Quarter.
Yeah.
He used to have his club there, and he's like, he's got some money now, he's got some stuff, and he's like, you know what, you guys really need to, like, do stuff. And, like, he introduces them to some other people who are like, yeah, we'd love to help fix up our old clubhouse. That place was great. That helped us shape who we are as we became adults and through high school. So that's how they're able to get, like, construction supplies and stuff to actually renovate it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
What else? But yeah, slowly but surely, because they're renovating it, because they're making it livable again, people are starting to take more notice. Plus, again, the little practice tests they bring up every now and then are helping. So they're slowly starting to gain favor from the main student body, and people are like, we should keep this place. It's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Good job, guys. This place doesn't look like shit anymore.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we get another little development that day.
Yeah, at that party, Shun and Umi are, talking, having a good time, and then she shows a picture of her dad with...
Yeah, she's kind of like showing him the house. And it's like, this place used to be a hospital and this sort of stuff. My great grandfather was a doctor and blah 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 and this and that. And it's like, oh, this is all really cool. This is really interesting stuff. Let's get to the meat.
Yeah, and then I guess they're talking about the flag raising that she does every morning. And so she's like saying, yeah, my dad was a sailor. He's the one who taught me how to do this. Or, well, Shun asks, is he the one who taught you how to do this? And she's like, yeah.
Which he knows about because his dad happens to be a sailor as well.
Yeah. Which is like kind of hinted at that she sees like a painting in one of the other boarders' rooms. And it's like mentioned that there's been like a ship like responding to her like raising the flags every morning with its like flashing its lights, but she can't see it from the garden where she's at. And at that moment you're kind of like, oh, I bet it's Shun who's doing that. But anyway, so yeah, and she's like showing him where her grandpa's office was, and then she's like pulls out a picture of her she's like showing pictures on the wall of, I guess, her grandpa and then her dad, and then she pulls out a picture of her like dad with two other sailors, and Shun reacts funny to it, to say the least.
That's the man who killed my father.
And then he starts avoiding her.
Yeah.
She still decides to help out with the clubhouse, but...
She's invested at this point.
But yeah, it's like awkward. Like, she'll say hi to him in the morning when he's handing out like the papers, and he won't like...
He'll be like, hi, but he's like...
He doesn't really
hey.
acknowledge her. And then it's just like... It's just the hardest part of the movie to watch, to be honest, because you're like, what's up with this guy? Like,
well, they kind of let you know a little bit, because
they
go back, after the party, he goes back home, sees his dad and his mom, and he kind of takes a photo album. He has the same picture.
Yeah.
And he's clearly connected to the dad in some way.
Yeah, and then you get to the part where he asks his dad, like, this guy who is, God, was his name like Sawara or something? Sawamura? I
just watched it last night and I forgot.
Like Sawamura or something
basically,
like
that. Umi's dad.
Yeah, he was like, is my actual father, right? And
I gotta tell you, I love the interaction that the dad has. Because, like, as soon as he, like, brings this up, he's like, we've talked about this. You're my son.
Yeah.
It's like, and then he's like, goes into it, like, I like that that's the first thing out of his mouth is like, hey, I don't care who your biological father is. I'm your dad. You're my kid.
Yeah.
You always will be. I'm like, that's really nice.
So then you're like, oh man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, yeah, so the dad, him and his wife had a miscarriage or something related to that. They weren't able to have children. And Umi's dad was knocking on their door because they had known each other. And he had a baby, and he's like, hey, we can't take care of this child. I got papers for, like, whatever, but you need to take care of... Can you take care of this kid? And the mom instantly just grabbed him and was like, yes, we'll take this baby in.
That baby was Shun.
Yep. So...
And Shun looks at, like, the official state or province records, and it's like, Uni's father's listed as my father on the paper, so...
That's bad!
So basically he thinks... Even though I like you, Umi, we can't be together because...
I'm your brother.
Yeah, he tells her that. She's like,
what do we do now?
Oh, no!
I guess just
be friends.
Try to not feel what we're feeling right now.
Yeah.
But that doesn't work out.
Yep, because like, it's anime, and there's contrivances, and they're being pushed together hard.
Yeah. And, so, it's kind of weird, though, because, like... You know when you're watching the movie, like, there's no way they're brother and sister. Like, they're not going to end it like this.
I'm going to say that the first time I watched it, I wasn't sure whether that was going to be what it was.
Yeah, well...
It might have been one of those Ghibli... Because not every Ghibli movie ends happy
I
all
guess.
the time.
Yeah.
But, you know, if it's like... If you go into it knowing that it's a romance, and it's like... You kind of hope...
You can have a romance that doesn't end with them getting together. Have you ever seen Roman Holiday?
No.
You need to see Roman Holiday.
The only reason why I was scared is because this movie came out in 2011, and modern anime has been kind of trashy of late. They have anime where brothers and sisters.
Did you think there was going to be a Miyazaki film that went trashy?
I don't know. It wasn't high on
Blasphemous.
Miyazaki. I know. I'm just saying.
But anyway, so you're strongly hoping that they're not gonna actually be related to each other, and you're like, okay, where's it gonna go to pull itself out of this hole?
Yeah.
So they're not related, and luckily...
Well, don't ruin it. We gotta wait for that. They've still gotta figure out what they're gonna do about the clubhouse.
Yeah, so
Because, good God, the school board voted in the middle of summer after they renovated everything that they're still gonna demolish it.
Yeah.
Oh, no!
So then, basically, Umi, Shun, and the student council president, I forget his name, they...
Glasses guy.
Yeah, he's like best friends with Shun. They travel all the way to Tokyo to talk to, I guess, the chairman of, like, the school board or...
Yeah.
And so they wait all day because they didn't make an appointment, and eventually he comes out and it's like, so where are you kids from? It's like, we're from this school, and it's like
I remember that place, and he's just kind of reminiscing the whole time. I'd like to say, this is a lot of really good shots of old Tokyo.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm back to the plot.
No, you're fine. he basically he recognizes Umi from like her last name, and like he's like, was your father this guy? It's like, yes, sir. And it's like, all right, I'm going to check out your school tomorrow.
Did he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, she's definitely the reason why he decides to check out the school.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure why. I thought it was just because he felt bad for her.
I think that was part of it. I think part of it was like, she did mention, my dad died during the Korean War. He was on a supply ship. They hit a mine. Ship went down, and he's like, wow, so your mom just raised you by herself, and like you turned out really well. I'm very impressed with you.
Yeah.
I think that is kind of what sold him, is like,
yeah,
if these are the kids coming to me to be like, we need this place. It's not like a bunch of jerk-offs coming to him being like, oh, we need our hangout spot, dude. It's like, these are really motivated, educated kids who are like, you need to take another look at this. And he's going like, okay, maybe I do. So he goes and they give him a little tour. The place looks great now. Mm-hmm. And he's like going through everybody's stuff and being like, look at all of that you guys are doing.
I cracked up when the chairman was talking to the philosopher kid. The philosopher kid had like some of the best one-liners in the movie.
Yeah, a little bit.
Funny.
And he just goes inside, he's like, all right, you got this. Where's your Play-Doh? What's wrong with you, man? Why is there a dog in here?
Oh, he says that?
I watched the English dub. The English dub has a couple like...
the sub.
Oh, yeah. It has a couple of lines that they kind of hide in there. Like, right when they walk in... Right when Umi walks into the literature archaeology club, the two archaeology students are like sitting off to the corner. It's like, man, no one's interested in the archaeology club. How do we make the archaeology interesting? We can't.
Yeah, the dub was great. I watched the dub too, and the dub was...
It's fun. It's fun.
I mean, there's never been a bad Miyazaki dub.
And it's all done by Disney. They know what they're doing at this point. But yeah, there's little things like that. Little things here and there throughout that they just kind of like hid small jokes and stuff that just kind of... I felt like it just kind of added to the world a little bit. Like, this was one story, but everyone in the school had their own story and their own things going on, it felt like.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which was really great. They're not just background characters.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the chairman decides, well, I guess we gotta find a new place for the new student center, because this place is staying, and everyone's like, yay! And Umi and Shun are like, we did it! We still can't make out.
However,
yeah.
There's three guys in the photo, and the third guy, who's the only one that's still alive, he's like, hey, I'm the captain of the...
Well, the dad calls him. The dad calls him at the Latin Quarry. He's like, hey, get down to harbor. That third guy in the photos, he's on a boat. He's leaving in like 30 minutes. Get down here if you want to know other things.
Yeah. So they race and barely make it in time, and the captain, the third guy, he pretty much tells the whole story where... Mm-hmm. The second guy in the photo, that was Shun's biological dad. He was killed in the war.
He was killed in an accident, I think.
Yeah, he was.
The mom died in childbirth, and the rest of the family died in Nagasaki.
Yeah. So there was nobody left to take care of the baby Shun, and all three of them were like brothers. They were all close, and so.
But Umi's dad was the only one there, and he just made the impulse decision, like, I have to adopt this kid. And, like, write him into my family. Otherwise, he's going to go to an orphanage, and I can't do that to my friend.
But then Umi's mom, who came back earlier in the movie, she said, well, I was a medical student going through school while pregnant with Umi, so I couldn't take care of two kids. So instead of putting him up for adoption or, like, leaving him in an orphanage, apparently Umi's dad decided to register the baby as his own, like, with his last name.
Which apparently was a thing that happened a lot at that point, because there were a lot of orphans after the war.
But gave the baby to Shun's
new dad.
So, in other words, you're, in a weird cosmic sort of way, related in a kind
You're
of...
related in a legal sense, but not by blood.
Yeah.
Which is good enough for Japan.
Yeah.
I mean, really, it's good enough for anybody as soon as you sort out a couple. You probably have to do a little bit of paperwork eventually, but you can sort that thing out probably pretty easily. Because you have enough witnesses to be like, yeah, no, they're not related.
But, yeah, but it was weird. It was kind of weird because, like, technically, Umi knew this information first. Not, like, from the sailor guy, but, like, from her mother.
I mean, sort of. We had the mother's perspective of he came in with a baby.
Yeah.
But Umi was also like, how do you know he wasn't Dad's son?
Right, true.
And the mom had never really considered, oh, what if my husband cheated on me in the war?
Yeah. But...
Which isn't unheard of.
Yeah.
So, until we got the actual confirmation of, no, I actually knew the guy who was your dad, I think things were still a little bit on the fence. It's like, I'm half sure that you're not my brother. That's still not 100% to be like, I'm gonna date you.
Well, but they did say before that they still loved each other.
Yeah,
even
like one
though
can
they
love
were
a sibling.
related.
I love my brother. I want to kill him sometimes, but I love him.
No, but that's not.
Yeah, they
how
told him like they
said it.
like they were coming back from the Tokyo trip. Like the student council president was visiting his own family in Tokyo, so they were.
He went to see his uncle.
Yeah,
or
they-
something.
Yeah, his uncle.
Yeah,
air
they
quotes.
Yeah, they
Everyone is trying to push them together.
Yeah.
Well, they were, having an awkward conversation, and then Umi goes on a train, and she's like, and then before she goes, and she's like, even though you're my brother, I still love you, like, in romantic love, and then he's
Do you think that, like, the acknowledgement from Miyazaki is what brought about all those weird incest shows later? Miyazaki did it.
No.
We can get away with this shit.
I mean, the whole weird sibling thing's been a thing for a while in, manga. Like, especially the whole step-sibling thing. Like, that's been a thing.
Well,
Like,
yes,
Yeah, I've been on
siblings and
Pornhub, I know.
biological siblings, like,
yeah.
there's trashy shows where biological siblings like each other, and it's
I know
like,
what you're talking about.
Orimo.
or
There's other one too. I forget what it's called.
or
but-
among the
Do we need to talk
sensei.
about this now?
No.
No.
This is getting squeaky. But yeah, Captain confirms you are definitely not related. And so they're like, yay! And they ride off into the sunset on a tugboat.
Yep.
And that's the movie.
Uh-huh.
So what did we really enjoy about this? I think my favorite part, I do like the characters, but I think the real beautiful part about this is the art
Yeah.
and the time period that they're presenting.
Like, I think my favorite, like, portions of this movie were when they were fixing up the clubhouse.
Yeah.
And, like, watching those sequences were some of my favorite portions of it.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed the music and the insert songs they put in the movie. Like, I think this is like one of my favorite Ghibli soundtracks.
That was cool. I'm trying to think. I don't normally see them as a soundtrack kind of thing. That you usually hear a score, but not like music.
Yeah,
like
there was
songs.
there was a lot of insert songs in the movie, which I enjoyed. I thought they were really good.
It is a period piece. How can you have a period piece without a period soundtrack?
Yeah. Especially because it'll definitely, like, set the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, I did want to point out that ship that they were on at the end. I don't know if you guys noticed, there was a little placard that said Ghibli on it.
Oh.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah. I didn't notice it the first time I watched it. Then, like, when I was watching it the most recent time, it was just like, oh, it's like a blink and you miss it moment, but
Yeah.
it's
Nice.
there. So, I guess that's their hidden Mickey.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Anything else?
I guess the only thing I did, like, overall, I really enjoyed the movie. It's not my favorite Ghibli film, but yet again, the Ghibli films, like, on the top pedigree are, like, some of the best anime films of all time. Yeah, Spirited Away and Castle in the Sky are my two favorites. But I guess the only thing I didn't like about the movie was I guess I wasn't a big fan of the subplot about whether or not he might be related to Umi or not. Like, I thought that was kind of creepy.
A little bit, but at the very least, they weren't going like, "Hey, kinky." I don't know.
Yeah.
They needed some kind of conflict.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the conflict was whether or not the building was going to be torn down.
That's not
Something,
enough.
but if you don't have something else, it's just a Hallmark movie.
I don't know though, because like when I was talking to like my partner about it and we were watching it together, they were like, I could have gone without the romance and still really enjoyed the movie.
I feel that way too,
And I
but
felt
I feel
that way as well. Like I thought the clubhouse and then like was interesting enough on its own.
Well, I thought Umi and Shun were cute together. It's just I didn't think the whole diversion of whether or not they're biological siblings was needed.
That did kind of make it awkward for me at points in the movie, to be honest.
Especially when everyone else is going like, "Oh, you two should." Yeah.
My whole question is like whether or not Miyazaki like made that movie like with hearing stories of something like this happening to other people at the time. So
I remember seeing in the credits that this was based on a book from a while ago. So
I mean, this could very well have just been like maybe a bit of an occurrence that happened where like people were meeting each other and they didn't know that they were siblings.
Again, that's possible because there was like a lot of people who, like they were saying, there were people just being adopted because the entire families had been wiped out by the war.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's totally possible to be like a true story kind of thing. But I don't know. I mean, I overall enjoyed the movie.
Oh yeah, it was still really good.
Yeah.
I would recommend this to people if they were looking for something, because it's not like an overly fantastic kind of thing like a Spirited Away or Mononoke or Castle in the Sky. Like, I kind of like this because it's sort of just, you can just sit down and relax and watch it kind of thing. It's just an easy little thing to get engrossed in.
Yeah.
Without like, whoa, everyone's gonna die.
Yeah.
Which is sometimes a plot in some Miyazaki films.
Grave of the Fireflies.
Oh, everyone's already dead.
Yeah, true.
So, yeah, I don't know that I would put that in the same category, but hey, maybe Grave of the Fireflies is the prequel to this.
Wow.
It kind of is.
I mean,
a little bit. If you
you're
think
not
about it chronologically.
wrong, timeline-wise.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe... No, both those kids died in the end, didn't they?
Mm.
Yeah, I was about to be like, what if one of them is one of the parent now? That's not going to work. Yeah. It's a yay.
Oh, yeah, yay.
It's a yay. Go watch this for yourself if you haven't, and if you haven't, well, we pretty much spoiled the movie. But still, the art is wonderful, and it gives you such a lovely atmosphere. So, watch it for that. Alright, we'll see you guys the movie for next month.
Velocipaster!
Yep, it's Easter time next month by the end of March, so it's like, let's watch something with some religious something. It's Velocipaster time. Go find that.
And
if you don't know what it is, you're going to be pleasantly surprised.
And for those of you that say, well, it's not anime, it's like, yeah, well, it could certainly
well,
be
go
the premise
fuck
of... Well, it could certainly be the premise of an anime.
Have you heard of Raptor Jesus?
Yeah.
Yes, JoJo fans have.
Yeah.
Exactly. The whole of next month is a giant JoJo reference. If that's what you gotta tell yourself to deal with this, then do it. I don't care. We're watching Velocipaster. Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Hey, thanks for watching, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell icon for notifications. If you enjoyed this video, give us a like, and if you haven't already, check out some of our previous episodes, our daily gaming videos, or our parody series Madoka Magically Abridged. See you next time!